2 motors on a kayak? Really? All right, so we're just gonna jump straight into today's video. Let me tell you what the problem is. Let me tell you what the options are, and then I'm gonna talk to this knucklehead behind the camera to solve the problem. All right, so my number one non-negotiable is I will be using the Torqeedo ultralight for my stern mount. I'm gonna stern mount this boat more than I'm going to bow mount it, okay? But I wanna have the ability to put the new Lowrance Recon on there for a couple of reasons. One, for GPS, auto lock, anchor hold, spot lock, whatever you want to call it. I want the ability to do contour control where I can sync up with my electronics to do routing and things like that. But I'm a fan of power and speed. It's kind of like, if you guys are my age and you remember Top Gun, I feel the need for speed, or whatever it is, right? So I got to have the speed to cover water. This boat is primarily for that, covering water, finding fish, scouting. It, in my opinion, is the most versatile boat on the market. Now, with our other boats, you have the situation where you've got the battery permanently rigged into the BlackPak. But I also like to use this boat on the river sometimes. I actually like to be able to take the BlackPak completely out because it actually does paddle pretty well. And so I want to make this more versatile. So the problem I run into is I can't do what Austin does to the back of his boat like we've done on the back of the XTR here, which is to hardwire this thing in to where it is now permanently mounted, or it's kind of a nightmare to take the BlackPak out. So the goal is, we've got the bow mount plate set up, went up and did some R&D with the folks at Kayak, got this tied in 2 places, and actually even created this stiffener right here and a ring so that you can use this for towing, for pulling, because you can't put this right here. You can't put your ADS right here when you put the bow mount on, and this is works great with kind of the bow hooks for trailers. So that being said, those are the constraints I have to work with. So the gentleman behind the camera is one of, if not the best, kayak rigging wizards in the game. And so here's my long-term goal: bow mount motor that I can use when I'm fishing offshore, when I'm doing the contour control, when I'm trying to film electronics videos, where it'll really allow me to take that motor and use it to guide the boat, where I can focus on shooting electronics videos for you guys and do a better job of forward-facing sonar, structure scan, and some of that stuff. So I've already got the bow set up. If we were setting this up from scratch, we would probably use 2 of the Sea Clear harnesses, but I actually rigged this boat up before I met the folks at Sea Clear, so I've got a lot of stuff that's already in here. I'm gonna leave this the same for now, get the motor set up for the bow mount, use my existing graph configuration, and I've actually got a couple of new graphs coming in, and I'll update the graph harness and the new graphs once those make it here. All right, so for now, here's the problem we have to solve. Where do we put the battery? So we've considered putting it under the seat and not having it permanently mounted and just running a cord. And then you run into problems with that because then you give up all of your gear, all of your space. You don't have the ability to make it waterproof or more protected. And one of the things that we're really advocating for is to add in your wiring, circuit breakers, smart shunts, and all the things that go along with putting a battery in a kayak for a bow mount. Plus, we have to balance the weight, okay? Because I'm gonna have the Torqeedo battery in the back 99.999% of the time, I don't see myself using the bow mount by itself. I need to also accommodate putting the Torqeedo battery in here, which normally I have this BlackPak locked in place here. The Torqeedo battery goes here where it was designed to go, and life is good. But because the new cord for the throttle is super long, I can now consider moving this battery to the back based on a suggestion from the dude behind the camera, like so. Replace this battery box and then hook up the battery here, but have it on a removable pigtail. So I've talked all this through with the electronics guru behind you. We have then assembled a cast of stuff that we need: the hardware, the tools, the harness, everything that we need. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump into mounting the Recon onto the PWR 129. This is the 36-inch shaft version. We're still doing the validation process with Lowrance. I'm not exactly sure when the release date of this 36-inch version is, and I don't even know when I'm going to know. So you can comment in the comment section below, but just keep in mind, if you give us a follow, as soon as we're able to release information on the 36-inch Recon, that, by the way, only weighs 37.2 pounds, one of the lightest, most powerful combinations out there, we'll put that information out. Now, one thing that I chose to do that I think Austin even somewhat disagreed with was I chose to go with a 24-volt battery. The biggest reason for that is I don't really need a lot of power in the bow mount. I also plan on using this a lot of times when I'm doing veterans trips and buddy trips and guided trips, using this as the secondary boat. So to a certain extent, I don't want as much power available to this thing because this motor is so powerful that on the bow of the PWR, I just don't want somebody to inadvertently throw themselves out of the boat. And I'll be honest with you, I don't want to inadvertently throw myself out of the boat, especially when I'm standing up. So I opted for a little bit less power, a little bit less weight, but by and large, if you're going to use this as your primary propulsion, you probably want to opt for the 3660 or 3650 from your favorite battery manufacturer. We love Dakota Lithium. This 24-volt, 60 amp hour is going to be money, okay? One of the other things we're going to do this year is we're going to be charting out current draw for graphs, for motors, helping you figure out a better way to determine how much power you're using with your motor, your graphs, and how much range or time you can get out of each of those. And we're going to be partnering up with the folks at Sea Clear to pull that off, because they've got a nice setup at their shop where you can hook up inline measurement tools and go out and try it out. So we're going to be bringing that to you. Now, before we move any further, the video will obviously already be done, but this is going to be a series of updating, outfitting on our boats. Drop your comments in the comment section below if you have questions about the motor, the power rating, the amp hour ratings, any of the stuff that we're going to be talking about in this video. Just in case you don't keep watching it, drop that comment now. It actually triggers the algorithm and helps grow the channel. So if there's anything you can do to help the channel, you can just comment, okay? It doesn't cost you a nickel. But I do want to say that the sponsor of today's video is yours truly, Kayak Bass Fishing. So if you can, help support the channel and get more back in benefits by 10x than it costs you, consider heading over to kayakbassfishing.com/join and join KBF today. Help support what we're doing here at the channel and join the largest, friendliest, most family-oriented community of kayak fishermen on the planet. And if you haven't done so, also go join the free group on Facebook. We'll link up all of that stuff in the description box. So without further ado, now we're going to jump into, when I say we, realistically what I mean is he's going to do the mounting. He's going to walk you through the thought process, because he's probably now on his 12th or 15th boat where he's either rigged for himself or somebody else with all of this fanciness. I get to get behind the camera now and let you guys watch the, what we say, the master? Watch, what should I call you? Watch
just a guy who knows a couple things.
But we got to have a brand. What do you guys think I should refer to him at? The rigging master? The electron? I don't know. Come up with a fancy name for what we call Austin in the world of rigging. So now I'm going to shut up. I'm going to give him the camera, and we're going to get to...
no, I'm going to give you the camera.
I mean, he's going to give me... Yeah, he's going to give me the camera. And I'm going to first thing I'm going to do is let you guys check out this. What do y'all call it? What do you kids call it? The drip? Is that what it's called? Here, just give me the camera. I want y'all to check out this drip he got going on. So he got the rubber church shoes in the South, the extra toughs. Got on some camouflage shorts. Got on a pullover that he looks like he wiped up a crime scene with, because he's had it for about 10 years.
Yeah.
And then a fancy new hat. Bro, are you still getting your little thing lined up right there?
Lined up.
All right, let's get to rigging this thing out. What's the first thing?
This thing has had a couple things dripped on it, but
yeah.
It's my work hoodie.
Is that what the kids call it? Your drip?
Yeah, this
is that what your
drip.
outfit's called?
This ain't drip.
So your car's your whip.
Yeah.
Your outfit's your drip.
Nice clothes is drip, but this is not drip. This is lazy.
It's dripped on.
What is today? Today is Thursday. It's a lazy Thursday.
All right, let's do this.
So yeah, first thing we're gonna do is what should we do first? Let's walk through. So this is pretty much everything that we're gonna have. We'll obviously put everything in the description, but I'll just run through. You need a battery, whatever motor you're gonna use. Obviously you'll need your bow mount. You will need 2 of these.
Don't say obviously. Don't act like they don't know what you say. Obviously you're gonna need your bow mount what?
Quick disconnect. You're gonna need a quick disconnect. We got 2 of these Marinco 70 plug and receptacle sets, just because when you want to make things removable, it does require a few more parts. Then we got a C-clear harness. This is not a kit that is out there. There is these kits, but between the the trolling motor kit and some jumpers that they offer, you'll be able to build out what we got here. But that'll be all down in the description, because we are having to get a little creative, to say the least, on trying to make this thing removable. So, but the first thing we're going to do is we'll just tell you, I already know I got to do this. This is the 13-foot trolling motor harness, and I'm going to show you just for reference for your boat. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a plug, we're going to put a plug in that power link hatch, and then it's going to run down the boat right here, come all the way down, and then actually we don't even need this seat anymore, so we might as well just remove her, because she's just going to be in the way for the day. So we'll just take this, we'll set that right there, and the end up goal is to come out right here into this power link plate. But just for reference, so that you know, because C-Clear, we've worked with them to come up with a 13-foot trolling motor harness, a 16-foot trolling motor harness, a 13-foot graph harness, which pretty much fits everything, and then a 13-foot, no, is that right?
Yeah.
Am I missing? Oh, the 4-foot. Then there's a 4-foot harness if you want to have like everything real close, like up front. Like if you're a person that puts your graph batteries up front, there's a 4-foot harness. But we're using the 13-foot trolling motor harness, and I'm just going to show you kind of.
And Nathan said that once we're done, we can kit this out and call it like the Chad Quick Connect kit or something like that. So it'll be on the website.
As you can see right here, just as the crow flies, we're going about 7 feet. But since you got to go down into the hole, over, go all the way back across, then come back over, and then we're gonna want a little bit of slack. You'll see at the end of this video why we want some slack right here, just for reference if you're you're wiring your boat. First thing we're gonna do is, normally this is how the trolling motor comes. Is you have
the trolling motor harness.
Trolling motor harness comes. Normally you have, this is the end. Now see, on a normal bass boat, all they do is they just put the trolling motor wires directly in, because they're not removing their motor. So we're going to cut these off. Well, not cut them off, I'll just show you a trick. And then you have this side, which is the side that is normally going to the battery. And on my build, and then, well, actually we've got a PWR build that I'll show a B-roll shot of where we came in through here and then just went directly into the BlackPak. But then on like the XTRs, we went through the power link plate in the back, then went into the back of the BlackPak.
One thing to keep in mind if you take the seat out of the boat is that when you're using this power link plate underneath the seat, you have to make sure you're taking into account where your seat's going to be, because you won't be able to put the seat in the low position once you put anything right here. And you just have to make sure that the connector is not going to interfere with the way that the seat is sitting on the boat.
So first thing we're going to do is, since this breaker is going to go into the box with the flush mount plug we're going to make. So first thing is really, we just got to take this breaker off. All it really requires is like I think it's a 10 millimeter if I remember correctly. It's just a little 10 millimeter wrench. Surprisingly, thankfully, Chad's got a brand new set we're about to break in. Nice and that gunmetal gray.
I happened to be up at Catch, and when I was working up at Catch, there was an Ace Hardware that was going out of business.
Oh,
and they had these for, well, they were 50% off, and then they were 40% off of the 50% off. So
we'll just pull this jumper off and set it to the side for now.
So there's the tool set he's talking about. She purty.
But in the end result, oh, I pulled the wrong cable off, dummy. Pull off because we're going to end up cutting these the soldered and heat shrinked ends, or whatever you want to call them, on O-ring. What are these things called? What's the actual word?
What?
Cable clamps.
Why are you cutting them all pretty little solders off?
We'll have to put them into the back of a plug. So goal number one is, let's see, how do I want to do this? So here's a decision you kind of got to make. So like, I want the plug to be even. So as you can see right here, on these C-clear harnesses. One cable is a little bit longer than the other. That's just because halfway through you put your breaker and then it ends up being about the same length. So what we're going to do is, because we want the prettier end that's going to be sticking out, we're going to say, hey, let's throw this end up front. So pretty much, let's just show you kind of above the boat what we'll be doing is we'll be taking this, and it'll come up through right here. And we're just going to run it down the side of the boat. We got to pop these plates off, drill some holes. And we'll just we're going to need a Phillips
Couldn't
head.
we just actually make that the disconnect right there?
What?
And just use the benefit of the quick disconnects from...
I mean, you could get another jumper and put a plug on it, but then that's just one more place for something to corrode and go wrong.
Okay.
So we'll take this off. Oops, try. Pop this off real quick. We just got to... There's nothing really fancy going on here. So those of you that don't know, there's these power link plates on each side of the boat. Well, there's actually three on the PWR.
One on the left-hand side as well, and then there's one in the cockpit. So there's a total of 4 on the XTR. So one here, one on the left-hand side, one directly under the seat, and then one up at the bow.
A little something I recommend for those of y'all that are gonna, you know, take on rigging your own boat. These little screws, just put them back in.
They migrate.
They will grow legs, they'll end up disappear, especially like us, and you know, you don't have the luxury of wiring in a shop. You just got to wire it on a dirt.
So practicing what we preach, don't sit them here in the little seat frame. Just throw them back in the holes where they go so that you don't lose them.
Because it's very easy.
Yeah, or if they fall in the boat, then you got to chase them down, pick one end up, all that. Just stick them back in the hole.
Next thing we're going to do is pretty much get a kayak rigger's best friend, which is a fish tape. Just going to run a fish tape. Let's see, let's think about this. What side makes the most sense? We'll run it down this side, because if you ever add stuff on this side,
look at the big brain on you.
Less stuff to have to
that whole forward thinking thing.
Have to rig around. So that's just.
And actually, while you're mentioning that, I do plan on adding something here. When I do the new electronics setup, I'm actually going to move my control here back to here.
So yeah.
And I've already got the extender, so that way I can move the thing that's got light on it next to my seat so it don't blind me. And then I'm going to move the power connections and all that for the graphs up to the front.
So that way when it comes time to, you know, put that stuff in, it's not extra wires you got to work around. So I'm going to grab some tape real quick.
One cool thing about the C-clear harness, if you're not doing a whole bunch of crazy rigging, is you actually can just use painter's tape, tape the ends up, and it's so stiff you can just push it down through the side of the boat. But because I've already got so much crap in here to work around, the old tape is worth its weight in gold.
When I quit my electrical career, I think I even said on the last job I ever did, I said, man, I'm gonna be glad when I never have to touch these damn things again. Now,
famous last word.
Now it's easy. Now Milwaukee's got the down. I was like, why could that not have been in the trade when I was doing it full time? You know, 60 hours a week is like, you know how much more jobs we could have. If you're an electrician watching this video, do y'all have
25-year-old talking about the back in my day?
I mean, I did it for 12 years, so. Most people are just getting started in that career. But now we fish and rig boats. We'll just stuff that in there.
Just like that.
Bada bing, bada boom. And see, I'd have got my ass kicked because I didn't leave a buddy tag. But thankfully, I'm the one that gets to undo it. Got a dog chasing another dog.
Look at her.
She just wants to play.
You had your run? Did you have fun? Did you chase that dog? All right. What's next?
I'm trying to think this through. Let's see. Y'all are here figuring it out just as much as we are trying to figure it out, and this is kind of just part of the process.
Well, they're not really here. They're watching.
They're watching.
They're listening to you figure it out.
Might have already left by now, so those of you that are still here, appreciate you. We got to get some holes drilled into here. We will drill this hole. Now, do you plan on putting the NMEA system in for the Recon?
It's already in here.
No, you have to run an extra cable, NMEA cable, and then directly to the motor.
Eventually, yeah.
So I got to figure out if that's going to fit. Oh yeah, I think we'll be good.
Yeah.
Instead of centering this up, we'll move it over. We'll stay inside the frame of the...
I mean, absolute worst case scenario, we can pull this rod holder out, bring the Namiya kit out the side, and we just have two connections.
We'll still go ahead and try to utilize.
The beautiful thing about this PowerLink plate is you can do it all. And if we happen to screw up, we've got extra plates.
So let me stick this, I'll put that right there, and then we'll mark a center point. Thought I grabbed a Sharpie.
Need a Sharpie?
Yeah, you want to go grab them?
Yeah, I got you. There you go, sir.
Thank you, thank you. Well, let me put this on the marker real quick, even better. So we'll take this. And be sure when you do this on these power links, remember that this, because it's opposite of each side because of molding, that lip right there is as far as you want to go because you'll be outside the gasket. So just got attacked by a wasp, I think, or was a leaf.
It was a leaf.
So what you'll want to pay attention to is to be sure, now this part can overlap, but you want to pay attention that your hole that you have to mount this thing with stays inside that frame. So what we'll do is we'll even give it a little bit of buffer because of a yak attack pass through for the Namiya system won't be that hard. So we'll just say that's as far as we need to go. And then we'll take this, I'll actually flip it around. We'll say, okay, that's inside the thing. And we'll say that's the center. So that's the center of our hole saw. And now what we're gonna do to make life a little easy is take this plate and we're just gonna mount it back. You can try to drill it without it, but if you just go ahead and put it back, it's just...
And guys, I'll be honest with you, when we first started playing with these PowerLink plates, if you try to mount them, or if you try to screw them in like a vise or something, you can crack them. But if you have them mounted to the boat, it just actually supports it. It's got the reinforcement. And if you need to take a little bit off the edge of the boat part when you're doing your hole, having it in there just kind of makes that match up nice and easy.
For reference, this is an 1 3/4 hole saw, and now all we're gonna do is I'm actually gonna, well, no, I'll leave it on there.
Just do the pilot hole first.
I'm just gonna eyeball it because there's enough to play. Actually, I am going to pop that off because I can eyeball this. Then the center of the screw is the center of the screw, so what I'll do is I'll get center this way. I could just take a Sharpie, but we're not doing precise measurements here. We're just, so we'll get me, I'll line it up with that, and I'll line it up with that, and that's pretty good. Pop that in there, take this thing, pop it back on. Pop it in reverse a little bit. And that is going to be the plug. As y'all can see, or you will see here in a second, is we're literally about dead center of dead center as it can get. That way we're inside the slip so that this remains waterproof or watertight. So what we'll do is grab this plug. This is, like I said, the Marinco 70. You just take this off. Now, if you do want some extra gasketness, extra sealness, whatever you want to call the word, Ketch does make a gasket that goes on the outside of this. I'll link it down in the description as well. But for the most part, it does pretty well. But if you want to take it to that extra step, Ketch makes a Marinco 70 plug. What are you doing? Oh, putting that plug back in?
Putting the screws back in.
So for now, you'll have to put 2 screws in there, but for now, just for the video purpose, is I'll just take this thing. Oops. Try to take this thing. It's on backwards. I think. Yeah. Take this thing and we'll just act like nobody's ever watched this channel before. Is, as you can see, these teeth, right here, these teeth are wider than what I just told you about as far as trying to keep everything waterproof. Well, the beautiful thing about plastic is I can take this thing, he's got the screws in there right now, and then I can just
force it in place.
And y'all get the gist of that. So that's that. Where'd the cable go? Did you take it out? Oh, I didn't run it up yet. So what we'll do now is we'll take this right here is the C-clear harness. We'll take this, we'll run it on the, he's got the XTR, or the PWR bulkheads up here, the front bulkhead. So you just go around that. That's gonna come up in here. And now you can do one of two things. Now I will probably, just because we've got some slack, I'll just cut these to the same length and, you know, then take off the crimps, or the, what is the actual name? It's driving me insane. I can't think of
the terminals.
The terminal ends, or whatever.
They're the crimp terminals.
So we'll just cut these off, and then we're gonna put these in the back of here. We'll grab a pair of pliers real quick.
Yeah, and these harnesses come pre-made, so you could just directly mount it to your motor board, but again, because or to your motor power connection, but because in a kayak we make it go to a removable connector. So what we'll do, you have to.
I'm just gonna cut this.
Improvise.
And you can see that wire, and then I'll just take this just for my OCD sake. Take it, and we'll cut that and save that for if we ever need something. But
that's about $12 in
nowadays.
Nowadays in heavy gauge wire. Speaking of heavy gauge wire, one of the first things that people are going to talk about when they see the price of these Seekler harnesses are like, oh man, those things are expensive. But when you start quoting out the price of wire, especially the wire at the level of quality that the Seekler uses,
all wires not created equal.
You're dang near at the same price of raw materials as you are for a finished harness. So we're continuing to work with Seekler also to develop more and better products to where you don't have to modify it. It's plug and play. So one of the things that we're doing is giving them feedback is,
by the time somebody would do that, and then the price of having to buy the solder,
they're soldering it, they're, you know, to tin the wire, they're putting it in there, and then they're even using the pneumatic crimpers to make sure that that thing is nice and secure. So one of the best electronics, you know, configuration companies in the game. They're also shielded. They prevent EMF or electromagnetic frequency interference. And but again, we're helping them kind of develop the Kayak series. So what we might do is talk to Nathan about having these pre-stripped and tinned instead of having the terminals on them, so that they're ready to go for, you know, Marinco plugs, and maybe just kit it out with the Marinco plug with it, you know,
just one button.
So what are you doing right now? That way you can explain.
We're just backing. So these things got Allen wrenches in the back. Now this is a 3-plug you know, system, but all you do is you just tighten up the third one and then use 2 of them for your black and red. And as you can see right here, this is probably one of the most important parts to not having a fireworks show, is you have a label right here. It's 1 and 2. So whatever it is for here, when you put your plug on, just match it. In my head, black comes first in the, you know, electrical, the negative. So black is always 1 for me, and red is number 2 for me. And that's just, I have it in my head, and I'll do that for, you know, the plug, the receptacle. Since we're doing the removable, we're going to have 2 on this boat, so you just got to keep up with it at each one, or else you're going to end up doing a hot to a negative, and that's not very good. It'll be an early 4th of July for y'all. So what I'll do is I'll take this right here, the number 8, you can stick it in there with the insulation, but this number 6 you can't. I'll stick it in there and just say, all right, that's about as far. I'll go in and take that.
You mean to go get you the wire stripper?
No, you can't. You ain't got a wire stripper this big.
Yeah, I do.
Just take it and cut it down the middle after you make your circle, and there you go. We're gonna do that for each one. And then we got some little crimps and stuff, and then we got some dielectric grease we'll show you here in a second, but let me get these stripped back. I'm just gonna strip each one back to the same length, and then I'll grab the dielectric grease and the crimp that just keeps it from, you know, to where you tighten it too tight, and then you end up, you know, bunching wires off, or, you know, cutting to where the wires do come off. So we'll take that, and we'll be right back. Next thing is, on the Marinco plugs, you get these little collars, and all these collars really do is just make a solid surface on the outside, so that way when you run, I actually just bumped one out, so I'll just show you exactly how small it is. Grab this Allen wrench, get this little dude out of here because I backed it out too far. So like when you have these little screws, you can end up, it's just not good. You want to have
it digs into the wire too much.
Digs into the wire too much.
You just dropped your other one.
Did I?
Oh, actually, just dropped all 3.
I'll back these out way too far. Put them back in there before we lose them.
Now, if you want to get real fancy and you got the setup for it, you could solder this and then slide it into the sleeve and then have the solder kind of, you know, provide a little bit of a extra connection.
Most people don't have a solder.
Most people don't have a solder, and
or
you
know
need
how.
solder flux. Plus, that's a lot of wire, so it'll soak up quite a bit of the solder. And then if you make it too big, it won't go inside the thing. So if you know what you're doing,
we're going to show you the...
you can make it a little bit deeper.
The easy way. And like I like to do is I like to push it in there and be sure I don't have insulation sticking out. You never want insulation
You mean
sticking
wire
out.
sticking out?
No, insulation. Well, yeah, wire sticking out. You want to be sure that insulation's cut to the right, you know, depth, because you don't want wire sticking out and you don't want insulation on the screw. So what I'll do is we'll do the black one first. We'll just take this collar and stick her in there. And as you can see, these collars, whoops. You know you have it stripped to the right. Just be sure. Come on. Gotta love stranded wire. You know you have it stripped to the right amount when that collar about works to be about the same length, because that collar was designed for this depth. And all we're gonna do is just throw some dielectric grease on there because it helps with corrosion over time. So we'll just take some...
Prevents oxidation, all that good stuff.
All that fancy science stuff.
And then one thing you can do, again, if you're not a big solderer, if you don't know what you're doing, is the easiest way to do it is to put the collar on first and solder the tip, and the wire will actually kind of soak some of it down in there like a sponge almost.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take black for me. You can, if 2 and 3 works better for your brain.
No, walk them through exactly what you do so they've got a plan.
Yeah,
so black is what?
Black is 1. Can you focus on that? There's a 1 on there, and all you're going to do is you're going to stick that in. I like to push this thing against my body because it lets me know that that wire is constantly being pushed as deep and you know, doesn't try to slide out as I tighten it. So I'm keeping constant pressure in, and then I'm going to tighten these up. With this is the Allen wrench that comes with the kit. I like to tighten it up as much as I can, you know, by using just that little bit of leverage, and then I'll go back in and I'll go back in after I can get it as tight with the short end sticking up, and I'll go in and I'll get that long end or the short end sticking in and get some leverage to put that final amount of ooga-doogas on there. You don't want to do it too tight because 1, you can strip that out, or 2, you can press it too much. But
or you can also crack that housing.
So you know,
give
it a good little snug.
Let me just drop the screw, bro.
Again.
This time. Woo! Oh, look at that.
Right there on top.
Lucky.
I don't know why I'm backing these out so far. Once again, just for repetition. See, as you can see right here. So this one was on the solder, and then I cut it back a little bit. Well, it's the one that has the end on it, and you can see this wire's not fraying at all because there's still a little bit of that solder on the end. So it might be a good idea to talk to Nathan about
little tin. Yeah, just pre-tin them.
Yep.
It's called tinning it when you put the solder on.
See, it's got beforehand. This wire actually, you know, where you cut it makes. So this one's actually going to be pretty tight. Yep.
It's perfect.
And then we'll just take a little bit of that dielectric grease. Just coat it on there pretty good. I don't think there's such thing as too much.
In theory, you should probably put a little bit on before you put the collar on, and then some on after the fact, and double it up. If you want to
take it to the next step, go ahead, and then we're going to go into number 2 with the red. And see, now I done put that screw too far.
So that answers the question as to why you backed it out so far.
And then, like I said, pop that thing in there. I like to hold it against my chest because I can keep a steady pressure on it. Learn how to work an Allen wrench. Both of those are good to go, and it's as simple as this. You back these screws back out, and then something to pay attention to on these Marincos is, well, be sure you got your gasket because it's slotted on the arrow side so that the gasket is actually flush and not, you know, you're not cutting it. So make a decision when you're putting these on. Hey, when I put that plug in, do I want that hatch to go, you know, towards the motor, towards the bow, or do I want to put it in and it go out towards the front? It's really, there's no rhyme or reason or what's better. It's more about preference. We here at the Hoover household tend to like it to where it goes kind of back and under because then it's not sticking out of the way. It's just, it's all personal preference, but we'll show you here real quick is get that cable back in there. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna put one end in and then like drop the end. It's like this, and then boom. Just take this, like so.
And that's because of the ring on the back is a little bit thicker than the hole.
And what we'll do is we'll take our screws, put them back in, and I usually wait to put the the screws in to mount the Marinco because you still got two right here that keep everything square. I like to put this up because then I can visualize, hey, where's the squarest and the best looking. And that's pretty good right there. In the Marinco pack, it comes with two little black screws.
Little self-tappers.
And just pop them bad boys in real quick. And if you want, you can take a drill, pilot hole it.
Nah.
You don't need to.
You don't want that with a self-tapper. You just want to make its own hole.
And then just try to get to the center of the hole and then just even pressure. That's good. And that's good to go. Now we just got to go to the back and next step is...
All right, so before we go through the next phase, give us the rundown on what we're going to do here, because this is the part where I was kind of confused, and I think you've got a plan now, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So what we're going to do is we're going to drill a little hole in this, just big enough for this wire to come through, and that's going to be, we're going to use a Yakatech through hole, which is behind you, which you'll see here in a second, or you can grab it. Orange pack right here to your left on the other side of the battery.
I knew I saw it.
So this is just the standard through hole. They make an XL with the gridlock stuff, but this is just the through hole. What we're gonna do, I'll just show you. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take one of these right here. We're gonna mount it right here. This wire is gonna come through. And now Chad opted to where what we're gonna do is we're gonna make the BlackPak to where somebody could take the BlackPak completely out, whether you're at a hotel for the night or you're just somewhere you don't trust having your batteries out there. Or in this instance, a little bit of,
This is my river BlackPak, so I really want to be able to take it in and out too for moving it over without having to build a whole nother BlackPak.
You got me. Feels like every time I do a video, I've got
something going
on. So that's all we're gonna do is we gotta get a hole saw. I'm just gonna drill this whole entire hole out because if I ever want to add something, I don't have to go back and, and by the time you put both of these through, let's see, stick this through. It's about the same diameter, so you might as well just drill that whole entire hole out. So we're gonna grab a new hole saw and we'll be right back.
So listen, one of the things that we're doing here is we're actually taking the time to walk through this whole process because this is what you guys have been asking for. And I also know when I watch videos where somebody explains how to do something, but then they just show like, here's all the stuff and then it's done, it's kind of frustrating. So we're gonna show you everything.
How do you want this mounted?
That way?
This way?
Yeah.
So it's going to be inverse on the inside. So here's what I'm about to show you guys. Is we're going to put one of these Yakatech through holes like we said. We're going to drill that hole out. But here's how I recommend mounting these things, especially if you're going to put multiple. Like you can fit like 3, but you got to be dead on. Is to take it, and so you want it like this.
Yep.
So we're going to have to be opposite. So take it and put it inside that frame. Inside that frame is where you want to be, and then just kind of push it all the way. And like I said, be sure you give yourself a little bit of buffer, that way you don't end up drilling. So if you can imagine if there was a line right here right before it bends, I'm just going to say, okay, I need to be right there.
And just drill it from that side.
That line. You can't, because you can't see the angle that you need to be at.
Right.
So that's why I recommend telling people to do it like this, to where you don't put your finger behind.
Now, when you say put your finger behind, are you speaking from experience?
Oh yeah. I'll
show maybe an incident that we can.
Oh yeah, I'll cut to it. I'm gonna milk that thing. All right, so that is what happens when you don't pay attention, is you drill yourself in the finger all the way to the bone. But like I was saying, if you reverse engineer it, it turns out perfect as it can get. So as you can see, we drilled those 2 holes. Is there enough background light or lighter? As you can see, I drilled those 2 holes to say, when I put that on there, it's gonna be nice and flush. Obviously, that's what I was saying is you need to draw a line. Let's see, I need to really walk through this because there's a lot of power link plates out there, whether it's native. Here,
back up with this.
Let me see this right here.
Look, just put this behind it and you can see it.
All right, so you can see the 2 holes. So here's what I recommend with people. Got this oval. Well, you see these 2 little, there's 2, can you see that notch on the camera?
They're mold marks, but yeah.
Yeah, you see the 2 little mold marks? Imagine I drew a line right there, just like so. Let's do orange. Orange sticks up again. If I drew a line right there, and you see anything, towards that way, I'm not flipping y'all off, but anything that way is almost a no-go, and I'm going to show you why. Because as you can see, this hole right here is this hole, and if that hole was any further, the angle would have to be what happens is you end up putting one screw inside the hole, and then you put another screw inside the gasket, and then it therefore, you know, defeats the whole purpose of the gasket. So just pay attention to that. You got some mold marks, but if you don't have those mold marks, just say, hey, where that circle starts to bend on each side, let me draw a line and just say, hey, that is the no drill zone. And as you can see, I put that one screw right on that hole. Because I've done this a few times, it kind of comes natural, but you can see the holes right there.
But we've done it the wrong way, so that's why we know.
I'm going to take this back here, and this is just me trying to get everything dead on. It takes a lot of extra work. Some of you guys might just be like,
just drill the damn hole.
Just drill the damn hole. It's good enough for me. But I like to take things, and I'm kind of a perfectionist and got bad OCD, so I'll take this thing. Don't really have to, but I do, just because it keeps it from spinning out and popping. So we'll just pop them in a little bit, and then I will take this thing right here. This is in that same kit. This ain't nothing extra. You just take your 2 short screws for mounting the pass-through outsert. Just take it in, line it up. What this does is it makes sure that all my holes are in line with each other. So I'll take that, tighten this down a little bit. And now
here's a disclaimer about using power tools versus hand tools for me real quick.
Okay, if you're going to use the power tools, don't tighten all the way up. We're going to go through at the end of this, and we'll tighten everything up with the Phillips head. So just get it started and get it done. Get it about 7/8 of the way done. And
since you are using a power tool, what settings are you using to make sure you don't do that?
But, I mean, you can't. There's no clutch out there that is soft enough, you know, to
not strip it
out. You could put it. You could, like, for a drill, like we got a drill and an impact. You could put this on 2, and the clutch would go off if you were to, you know, light feather it. But most people, when they get a drill, they go like this. That number 2 is different.
It's already stripped.
It's already stripped by the time the clutch hits. So, but speaking of 7/8, what we're going to do is we're going to take a 7/8 drill. This is kind of, we've got a little Milwaukee kit over there that's got, it don't have 1 inch in it. It's got like 7/8 and then like 1 3/4 inch. But if I had 1 inch, I would take 1 inch. But we got a 7/8, and all we're going to do is we're going to get in the center. In center, that ain't center. That's pretty close. In center and center. And why is it in hammer mode? Because I put it in hammer mode. Funny how that works. Tell somebody to do something when they do it. So just pop that in. And now it's going to drill a hole. You can be a little off, but if you do 1 inch, it'll pretty much guide itself, because that's the footprint of...
I like the 7/8 better anyway, just because it leaves a little bit of room behind the rubber gasket for the gasket to bite into.
That's it.
So your gasket can bite into the plate. There you go.
That's it. As you can see, what he's talking about gasket is, you see this outer rim right here, is there's the insert part. This insert part sits in there, and so pretty much that indention is...
yeah, and if you make it too hole too big, this piece will just fall through the boat.
So now what we're going to do, can't get through with that again.
It's right there. I can see it.
Oh. So now the next step is going to be popping this bad boy through here. But first we got to take off these ends, because we're not going to use them. Cool thing about this end is you really don't have to cut anything. All you got to do is just take a pair of pliers, go down, or pair of pliers, pair of, not even a pair, you just take a single razor blade, go down the middle, take the heat shrink off, and then these posi locks, just back it out. Shows you how good these damn things are. Everybody who's worried about, oh, those posi locks will come out. No, they won't. Take that right there. Be sure you don't cut too deep on your wire. Pretty much don't even have to cut where the wire is, but I just do a little bit just to create a niche. And then we'll pop this out. And we'll keep up with these, because we can use these for
other stuff.
Other stuff and different builds. And so as you can see, that wire's kind of bare in here. And it's about stripped about the right depth. We may got to trim her just a little bit, but we're going to put this in here like so. And pretty much you can mount this now to whatever, it's done. We don't have to get inside the boat anymore. But what we'll do is get all these little fuzzies, we'll get them out of the way, push them to where we can vacuum them up later, push that through, and pop that in there. and we'll put the gasket. You can put the gasket on after the fact. So here's what I like to do. I like to not put the gaskets in there until I'm done with everything, because what that allows me to do is cut these things out, because you do have to kind of make a custom cut out of these things to the exact thing, so I don't have to pull it through. And here's the big problem is like, oh, I got too much, and then you go to push it through, and then you grab one of those, you grab one of these gaskets and it folds it into that hole, and then you push this down, and then you got to take it all apart. So the next thing,
wait to the end.
Yeah, wait to the end. We're going to put a plug in on this. It's pretty much the same thing as putting that plug on, but the big thing is, excuse me, is we got to put a battery in here. So let me grab the battery just for reference for those of y'all that are watching. Let's check this battery real quick on the camera. We good? Yeah, we good. So we're gonna take a 24 volt 60. We're gonna stick her in here. This is a 13 by 16 just for reference for those of y'all that are building battery packs. And we gotta get creative in here.
What we do is we save the foam that comes with the battery boxes, and we use some foam from some of the other packing for motors and things like that. But if you don't get any from other stuff, then you can use the foam that comes with the battery to kind of wedge it in place.
So this is the part where it's going to take some time and some configuration, is because we have to, since we're working with set jumpers and not doing custom wires,
And guys, one thing to be thinking about is when you start doing something like putting a battery in here, which is a pretty heavy item, you also have to think about things like, what other weighted items do you have on the boat? Like, am I going to have forward-facing sonar up here? If I am, I want the battery offset to the opposite side of the forward-facing sonar. Do I have an anchor wizard? If I have an anchor wizard, I want the anchor wizard on the opposite side. You know, things like that that you take into account as you're setting this thing up. When your motor stows, if the motor stows off to one side or the other, you're going to want to put the battery on the opposite side, so that if you have your motor in the stowed position, the weights are kind of offsetting each other. So think about some of that stuff as you're getting your boat ready to go.
You're gonna have to remove your track.
You gotta take my track off?
Do.
Bruh. That's the cool thing about the gridlock system is...
Yeah, this isn't 8 holes.
You basically just configure and reconfigure and reconfigure.
The hole we're about to put in this is not gridlock.
And the reason that I put that track there in the first place was to put a one of the vertical tie downs, so that I could actually make the BlackPak where I could attach it to the back of my seat, so that it was able to bungee hook to the back of the seat and make the whole system kind of work together. But now we can just take them off and see how it kind of is a little bit white here and a little bit. You can actually take a heat gun and heat it up, and those holes will just like close right back up. Not crazy heat, but just a little bit of heat.
So here's kind of what's going to make this thing removable, is putting a plug in on this and mounting a flush mount plug in it. And like I said, again, once all this will be down in the description.
Now, for the sake of discussion, if I didn't want this to be removable, what he could have done is just went with a pass-through to a pass-through.
I'll cut through on my power, because I've got my power set up.
I mean, even on this boat, we could have went pass-through to pass-through, but then it's just kind of more permanently mounted in the boat. And so we've done that before, and I wanted to show you guys how to do a removable battery, but I also wanted it to be removable because this is my river BlackPak. It's got my turret style rod holders on it, but I like to use this BlackPak in the PWR as well. Yeah, so all of that is why we're doing what we're doing.
There's just a lot of people out there that don't want to, for right reasons, leave their BlackPak in their boat.
Yeah, they don't want to leave $1,000 worth of batteries and wiring and stuff just kind of sitting out there at the hotel.
Here's the next thing. We're gonna have to punch a hole in the BlackPak. Is what we're doing is we're gonna take this, just for just so you can visualize it, is we're gonna take this, we're gonna run all our wires to act as if this was the main source of power. So we got to put this thing in there right here, and I think the best thing is actually put the seat back in. So this is why you need to maybe put the seat back in and don't
think about it all.
Think about it all and take the time to think about every little thing and not just the face value of, okay, so that cable. Now let me ask you a question. Since you have the slack, do you want to be able to take this cable and go around and plug it in? Well, you'll have to, because if we put the plug, well, plug could fit through there, right?
I just want it to come through that gap right there.
Hold on. Which gap?
Right there. Yeah, why can't it just go through there?
Oh yeah, I'm overthinking it. So what we'll do is we'll take this, because this will be a plug-in, and I'm actually going to end up cutting these cables to where it doesn't stick out like that. We'll cut them to where it kind of grabs that.
It's clean.
Clean. So what we're going to do is that's going to plug in there. So do we want, yeah, probably. Well,
but when you say these things inside your head,
I'm thinking out loud right now.
Think them out, but think all the way out loud so that the folks that are watching.
Here's what I'm doing right now. So we just determined that since we have
Let's get this back out of the way.
Since we have this gap right here.
Hold on. There.
We have this gap right here that the seat doesn't touch. How long has this boat been out?
4 years.
Not seen a single person in the low position.
No.
So we're using the high position.
Actually, you saw me in it.
Because we had to.
One time for one video during the early phases.
During the prototyping.
Every now and then somebody I'll see them put it in the low position for like transportation, or because their trailer thing is too low to get it under, but I don't know of anybody that puts it low.
Here's what we're trying to figure out is you got to pay attention to this. Is that cable's going to come through here, obviously. Now I got to decide how high I want this plug, because I don't want it to be too high and then I can't make that angle, or I'm putting a lot of stress, you know, trying to get that wire to, you know, bend constantly. That's never what you want. But then you got to take into consideration what's going on in your BlackPak. Can I put it lower? So
we can also move the BlackPak back a little bit to get the angle better. So I think splitting the difference is probably ideal.
You want to go in the middle from the logo to...
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
Aesthetically, that looks good, and it also leaves me a little bit of room right here for like my Yeti lunchbox and water bottles and stuff like that too.
Oh, that works out good too. So look right here. So if you use these squares and you imagine it on the other side, what we're going to do is we're going to say, take the center of this and put it in the center of that square, because then on the other side, the holes to drill it go inside of this flush mount and we don't end up on a joint. So that's pretty easy. So what we're going to do is let's see, we got 1, 2, 3 squares. So right there, do you want, yeah. So if we go, so that will be, we'll drill into the middle of the second square. That'll put this plug right there. And that shouldn't be a problem, because that's about how far the plug is going to stick out.
And if we move this back just a little bit, it makes that angle even better.
Or do we just want to go ahead?
No, I want it a little bit lower. Yeah.
So our center point is going to be this right here.
Yeah.
All right. Put the big boy back on. I'm just going to pop this thing off just because it's easier for me to see. There's some construction guys out there right now making fun of me. So center of this one. We'll just go, we're going to go the center of the square, and you can just use these dots to. Pretty center. Pop this bad boy back on.
Now we had a beautiful fall going with the color change, and then one good windy evening, and it's about to be dead winter.
Is this the right size?
And the color was so good.
Oh, I'll give them a little tip real quick. As y'all see right here, when you drill these holes, so that way you don't drill a hole out that's like a 1/16 of an inch too small, be sure you're drilling your hole to the threads. When I first started installing these things, I drilled one that was to the size of this right here, but the threads are thicker. So what happens, you drill this one hole, then it's a pain in the ass to get that hole. Obviously there's people out there that know the hole saw trick of putting the hole saw in, but be sure you're going to the threads, to the outsides of your threads, and not just to this little part right here. So just to save you some headache, because I did it the first time.
But you're better off drilling a hole too small
early
on than a hole too big.
This is definitely not too big. Oh, that just feels wrong.
It just looks wrong too when you first do it.
It's carving a pumpkin right now.
Look at all that. Look at all that litter. All that BlackPak litter in there.
Take it. I think we got most of it.
We're gonna vacuum it later. Oh man, you knocked my dang on caffeine out. Now it's all in the footwell.
Good thing you got a scupper. You got a cup holder right there, bro. So what we'll do, well, I guess we can go ahead and put this back in. Take this bad boy right here. Same concept. So we'll pop her in. And then we will, why am I having such a hard time with these today? They really don't even need the screws. So if you're somebody that's like, I don't want to drill any extra holes, you really don't even need them. But so as you can see, this is the idea now, is you're starting to see her in real life. Is we're going to put a plug on this and just say plug this in. We're going to put a battery switch in here, and then you'll be able to just say, hey, we're sending power to the motor. So it's going to take some work up in here to we're going to have to do some thinking. This might be a little bit of we do it and just show you at the end of the day, because it's not really a lot of what to figure out. It's just because what we're doing is we're using these jumpers, and we're going to put an on-off switch in here. Yeah, an on-off switch in here. Normally we put them dead in the center, but we had to utilize that space. So this is kind of where you got to take some thinking of, does your negative terminal go on the left side or the right side? Just based off of where everything ends up having to go. Do you want to take your battery, turn it this way for weight distribution? Does, you know, because it makes a lot of difference, especially on a boat like this, if you know, versus putting it square or in line, because I can shift that weight, like Chad was just saying a second ago. If you got a rod or what's some things called, a turret for your sniper, a sniper marine, like a pole, or you got something on that side, and so that's just all the little things that you kind of.
And you can offset it by moving your torpedo battery over.
It's all build to build. Yeah, but most people aren't going to have a recon and a torpedo unless somebody makes it legal. You ever going to make it legal for dual motors? I tried, guys. I tried. I'm for the people, for the fishermen. I'm trying to help you out.
All right, so instead of showing it all, just talk through all the variables, and then what we'll do is we'll show them later what we came up with, because obviously we're still showing the entire process. Yeah. So here's the process. Now that we're down to it, we've got to figure out how to get this, all the wiring. I complicated this by wanting it to be removable. Yeah. And so now I've got to think about my layout. Where am I going to put my turret, my graph, all that other stuff? Am I going to move over my battery in the front to compensate for it? Which side do I want it on? You know, I like the throttle on the left-hand side. I kind of lean left more than I do right. I land fish on that side, so I'm probably leaning more towards having the battery on the right-hand side, but we've just got to make it all work. So
here's kind of what we're playing with, just for references. You can take this and let's say, do we want this cable to go around back this way and then to go into here? Now he's not going to put a second battery in here right now, so it gives us a lot of options. Do we want to put the battery like this, so then my positive terminal can go up and around, and then I can take this one, because what this is going to do is we're going to have a connection into here. So we're going to take the time and really just
figure it out,
and we'll show you kind of at the end.
Let's give you the rundown after we lay it all out.
Nothing, it's really just running wires, and we'll show you how it worked out for us. And when you build your build, you'll end up having to just kind of take the time and, you know, look at it, do the same thing. So we'll be right back.
All right, guys, we're back. We got the layout pretty well designed, and Austin's picking back up with a tip for you.
So this is kind of what we decided. We're going to put the switch, the breaker, let's see, kind of this scenario. It's not mounted, of course. Then this red wire will leave the breaker, and we'll be able to go into where we need to go. Then this black wire is going to be loose right here, and it'll go into where it needs to go. We're not really putting anything under there, so that keeps the wires from crossing, and will support everything right. But I want to show you something about these things.
What that allows us to do is break power from the box out and even inside the box by having the breaker separating the switch from the battery and the switch operating the battery from the switch. So that way we've got kind of redundancy. So this doesn't end up powered when we're not connected to the motor, and then you've got the breaker between the power in or the power out in the motor, and then you've got this isolation here between the circuit breaker and the battery. So then we've got redundancy.
So we got that. We got to put the plug on all that real quick, but I want to show you something with this. With the C-Clear switch, well, it's not C-Clear switch, but it's the switch that they use. So if you use the C-Clear website and, you know, the links and everything, this is the one you'll get. Let me just pop this off real quick. So this is the backing plate. Now show over here. So the spacing for these things works out actually pretty good for the gridlock. But what it does is, so if you see on the gridlock system, you got a hole, no hole, but you have that same insert, hole, no hole, hole, no hole. You get the gist. And what that is the gridlock on the outside versus the gridlock on the inside. A lot of people forget that the gridlock's on the inside. So what I recommend doing is, I have them out here. Actually, they're right here. That way you can make a note, screenshot this or whatever. So it is a number 8 screw that is 1.5 inches, is the perfect length to go all the way through the switch. So you put this back on here to protect the backside, through the switch and into the gridlock, but not come out of the gridlock, so that the BlackPak stays waterproof. But like I was just saying, is you see right here where you got hole and no hole. So on the no hole, take the time and get a small drill and pilot hole that hole about halfway through. Don't go all the way through, because you go all the way through, now that hole is going to be able to go through all the way completely. So before you take these screws, because we're going to use the gridlock system to show you right here, we're going to go through these holes right here. We're just going to utilize the top 2, and then we're going to mount that. We have the 1 gridlock, but it's a lot easier just to drill that pilot hole on this other one than it is trying to self-tapper it, because there's not much margin for error right there. So just a little mounting tip, and then
now if you self-tapper it before you put it on there and the pilot hole's kind of already there, it works.
But yeah, or you could do that. That's another way to do it, is just to take this. But like I said, there's not much.
Just get it going with the drill.
There's not much margin for error in there.
But yeah, get your hole. And honestly, since this is the one that's the tighter margin, I would put these 2 in first and then put the other ones in.
You only need 2, the top 2.
Okay.
All I do is, I've done it on 5 boats now. It's just the top 2 and have had 0 issues. So.
And your OCD don't kill you that you've got 2 screws in?
Well, it's more of it's a pain in the butt to get it. And so we're gonna mount this up, and then we'll be right back to kind of just show you really the final product, because all we're gonna do is mount this up, get it nice and clean, and then put this plug on it. The trolling motor's already got a plug on the end of it. So
we'll mount it up, hit the water.
We're about done.
We'll be out there.
Hopefully this
we got a little stormy action coming on down over yonder.
I'm gonna hurry up, get this done.
All right, let's get her done.
Yep.
Well guys, this is why we're going to be working on building the shop. We said the rain was coming. Well, it's here.
Weatherman, can you imagine that the weatherman lied to us? So yeah, it's about to get
so we're going to throw this thing in the barn, and we'll wrap everything up, because we've got a lot of exposed electrical. We're going to throw this thing, we're going to pull it off of the suspense stand, throw it on the trailer, get it in the barn, and we'll pull it back out. Well, tomorrow, or
we're gonna go ahead and
whenever.
We're gonna go ahead and finish it up.
But we'll walk it through when it ain't raining.
We'll walk through kind of the final steps, and then the little ins and outs, and just show you kind of the finished product. So for y'all, it'll be just like this. All right, guys. So what we got right here is, you know, that BlackPak.
Hold up, this ain't working. We got to switch sides because you're completely blown out. I mean, you look a little angelic, but you also look like a shadow. Well, now I'll just shoot from this angle.
It's better than me being black.
Cool.
So here's what we got. This is the final product of what this whole video has been about. This is a removable BlackPak and a battery box. And here's what we got. We got a Dakota Lithium 24 volt 60. We got our on-off switch and a circuit breaker. And then we just had to make pigtails. Now the negative, you know, just there's nothing on it. Now if you were to put one of those Bluetooth battery monitors, you'd have to run the pigtail to here and then run another one. But since there is no other device that we want to put in this, so you just run a pigtail into the back of this plug. And then the same thing for the hot, as us electricians call it, but the red, the positive. So you run a jumper from the battery to the switch. Show it down here. Battery to the switch, leave the switch, go to the the breaker, and then come into the back of the plug. And this is what makes it removable. Those plugs are good, is we ended up putting a plug in on the harness. That way we can unplug this and that whole battery box can come out, but all the power for your bow mounts up there. And all we did was we used the power link plate, and we used a Yak Attack through hole. Y'all saw how we, you know, laid that out. And excuse my voice, I did, you know, in the last video, I was like, I'm catching something. Well, I caught it. So you just put a plug on it, cut the wire to the determined length. Now we do have a bunch of extras, not a bunch, but we probably got 2 or 3 feet of slack inside the boat. So if we wanted to, we could pull it out, loosen it up. And what we did is, let me grab some of these. So we used the 2 biggest ones. It's got letter E on it. So just show it right here. So each one of these inserts have a letter on them, like option A, B, C, D. We use letter E, but then what you have to do is you want to take 2 of them. As you can see right here, we had to take 2 of them. Just get you a razor knife, and obviously the hole will be bigger on E. Just go right down the middle and then split that, and go all the way through and then split it. But since this wire is a little bit bigger even on the E, what we had to do was take 2 of them, and then we take out the nipple on each side, so that way it kind of, for those of you that never have used these, so as you can imagine, if you do that twice and then you cut that slot out, that is how we accomplished, you know.
Show how it just fits on half of the wire.
Yeah, half on the wire, but then you use the letter E, and then
the other thing you can do, guys, is they have these ones right here that are blank offs. You can actually just get a drill bit that matches that and just drill a hole in each of the blank sides. So try what he said first, but if you screw it up and you don't have one left, you can use this blank off and just use a drill to drill a hole in it.
Yep, so that's pretty much it, and this is like, we'll show you. Let's do this real quick. Let me untie this. We recommend on pretty much every BlackPak if you're going to use, I mean, really most of them. I don't think, can you think of any that we recommend using the bungee still?
No.
It's like, it's almost,
not if you got any kind of weight in
these
it.
BlackPaks have gotten so heavy with tackle, or if you're using a battery box. We recommend doing this right here. Either this is the existing strap, just get you a 3-foot cam strap and a vertical tie down, and tie those down and on both sides. But let me undo this and kind of just show y'all.
And if you got your rod holders closer together, you can actually use another vertical tie down and one of the gridlock mighty mounts, and then you can fit between a smaller space.
Yeah, so as you can see, as you pull this off right here, we'll close this hatch. And oh, I forgot to mention, in the bottom of this, we put the closed cell foam.
We talked about that earlier in the video.
Did we?
Yeah.
I don't know. Since the day has passed, I'm kind of.
We already covered that.
But you have to do some closed cell foam, especially. It's like a priority on a normal box, but especially since this one's going to be removable, you're going to be grabbing it and shaking it and moving it all over the place.
But since you mentioned it, I am going to talk about what I'm planning to do with this. I'm actually going to get a smaller piece of closed cell foam to go over the top of this, so I can put a TrackPak box on the top, and then I could put 2 TrackPak boxes down here, and I could still make use of my BlackPak, because when you put the short stack on top, you got your BlackPak, you got your short stack, you got a TrackPak on top, you've got pretty much all the tackle management you need.
As you can see right here, we'll just lock this up and we're untied, and this is completely removable. Whether you're at an airport, what's some things called? Hotels? You're at a hotel, or you want to, like, what's going to be pretty cool is like somebody could take their charger, you could take this, I don't know if I would recommend it, but you could if you want, is you could take a charger, put this plug in on it, and then just plug your batteries in and kind of charge it backwards. I don't know if lithium companies recommend that, but you could.
You could, totally. I also want to talk about finding maybe like a receptacle and mount it right here, so that when I'm not using it, I could just plug that in. You know, if that's is that practical?
Yeah,
we'll just get a receptacle.
We could, you know, you just get, they sell the receptacle separately. So
yeah, just buy the receptacle and we'll stick it in there like that.
We learned stuff.
Then when I'm not using it, I just plug her in, so I don't have that just flopping around.
Yeah,
now,
let me show you. Hold on, before you move on.
No, actually, let me talk about this safety thing real quick while I got this uncovered.
Right.
So you're going to say to yourself, well, why didn't you just put the plug here so you don't have this left on the boat, and then you've got your battery in here? And we thought about doing that, and actually we were talking to Duke at Catch about it, and he said, listen, man, if you do that, unfortunately what's going to happen is somebody's going to forget to turn off your isolation switch. Now you take this pigtail off, and that end is powered, and you stick it in your truck, and you're going to weld your truck together. So if you had this pigtail the other way and you forgot to turn this off, this is now engaging power to that. As soon as you touch something with that, you're going to arc it. So the reason we went double, extra, triple, we put the circuit breaker in here. We've got the circuit breaker on the front side of this in line. And I'm actually going to start working on figuring out a way to put a kill switch for a bow mount, because a lot of times we're standing up with bow mounts and we don't have kill switches for bow mounts. We got kill switches for stern mounts, but because we use bow mounts in these boats, I'm going to start working on figuring out how to mount a kill switch like right here that we can tie in line to cut power if you happen to fall out of the boat. So anyway, that's the whole reason why we didn't do this the other way around.
That was our initial thought process.
It was literally, we were doing a, what was it called? A conference call with Duke, and we mentioned it. He said, bro, somebody is going to forget.
It sounds like the best. It's like the easiest.
Somebody's going to forget to turn that thing off, and you're going to end up arcing that and welding something.
Yeah, it's like if you had that on and then you threw it in your, a lot of us have trucks, you threw it in your tailgate, that aluminum is a conductor, your aluminum truck bed. So yes, we recommend doing it this way because for safety reasons. But check this out, is once I put this seat in, now you will maybe have to bend that wire. Got a little too much sticking out, but as you can see, there it is. It's nice and clean and simple. Let's actually just check for the viewers if we were to put this thing in the low position, if it still would work.
I mean, it'll still work. You're just going to have a little bit of a harsh angle.
You see right here?
Yeah.
You kind of
have a little bit harsher angle on that tip.
On that wire, so. But like we said at the beginning video, pretty much nobody uses this seat in the low seat. I think if you need it in the low seat, you're probably in water you shouldn't need to be in. So
now let me tell you one mistake that we made on another boat a long time ago. Don't put the power cable through this gap, then put the connector on, because you think it fits. Then what ends up happening is now this power connector is through here and you can't take the seat off.
I will say this too real quick, is if you're somebody that's like, I'm so set on the low position, you can take this plug and run it.
Exactly.
See right here, and then
like go around the outside.
I don't want to pull too much slack out.
No, you're good. That's good. We can. You illustrated the point.
Yeah. So you could use that gap. This plug does fit through it. But let's power this bad boy on. Let's see if we have a fireworks show. A late 4th of July.
Bro.
Early 4th of July.
Early New Year's. We're closer to New Year's.
That's it. So and you just turn the switch on, and go on up there.
We have power.
This thing will power.
So she's initializing. Oh, guys, while we're waiting on this thing to completely fire up, I want to show you another thing I did. I do this on pretty much everything that I do that's removable, and a lot of times you can't see this stuff, so I figure I'll take the time to point it out. This is Spectracord. This is the same stuff that most of the steering systems use. It's just a black version of it. So I drilled a little pilot hole here, screwed this lanyard on there, and then now I can use this to pull the motor mount out. I can slide it off to the side to pull it out. When I put it in, I can just slide this knot up out of the way, so I don't have to worry about this line getting hooks and stuff caught into it. But I just drilled a little pilot hole right there and screwed that in, and that actually helps me keep from losing my little U-bracket or U-bolt or whatever this thing. What is this thing called? Slide pin or something like that?
U-pin.
U-pin. U-pin. Look at a big brain on.
One more thing, and then we're gonna let
cool.
we're gonna let the old man wrap this video up. Is we always recommend on these things is leaving this a little bit long. Couple reasons. Reason number one is if you get a new boat, you put it somewhere and then you go, oh crap, I don't want it there. You have the slack to, you know, take this plug and move where the receptacle is depending on your boat. Number two, if something ever does happen with this plug, you know, it corrodes inside, whatever it might be, and you got to cut that wire again. You don't want to cut it perfect the first time because then you have no slack to, you know, make a new plug-in on, and trying to replace the power cord on these computer boards is not fun. Probably not even a warranted thing. So all we do is we leave some slack, and then the cool thing about these catch mounts is on a bona fide, like the PWR and the XTR, they got these little slots right here for, you know, draining
little
water.
Grooves.
And they make the perfect place for, do you want to come around here? Or?
Sure. I mean, you can see it perfect.
They make the perfect amount of spots for, you know, putting your wire in. Do you have your power or your XTR up there?
Yeah. The other thing you can do is you can also take it and bring it around and tuck it in your little rod holder thing here if you don't use it. But this little spot right here is just freaking perfect for it, right? Just
so
right
don't
there.
Cut your wire perfect.
Just don't cut it all the way down. But we also don't leave it, you know, 6 foot long, so you have an unmanageable amount of line there. So
well, hand me that camera real quick and you can wrap this thing up.
All righty. Well, last thing is, one of the big reasons for the use of the Recon with this boat in particular is it's lightweight. You know, we use the power pole move on some of the other boats, but it's probably too heavy. Actually, it is too heavy for this boat. We've actually tried it. Could probably make it work, but it's not really practical. So the Recon is going to be, in my opinion, the #1 choice for this boat. This is the 36-inch shaft. Now, don't blow the comment section up. Oh, can't find it on the website. This motor is not available yet. We are doing the final software validation and performance testing for Lowrance, and then as soon as we are able to say when it's available, we will. So hit that subscribe button, follow, comment below so I end up in your algorithm, but we will be talking about that. But the main reason that I've got this on this boat is this is going to become my scouting, my offshore, my pinpoint fishing boat. And because this boat, this motor will network with the NMEA system, I'm going to connect the NMEA system. I've got my backbone right here on the back of this set up on the back of my plate right here, tied into my 0.1 that'll be tied into my graph. So this is going to allow me to have my entire kind of hub of my system right here. This thing does not take up a bunch of room. So like, and it's not super heavy, only 37, I think it's 37.2 pounds. And then we added about 2 pounds with the catch remote. The catch plate to make it super stiff, which is how you've got this plate tied on in the front. And then I actually went so far as to add a U-bolt to the front of mine because I love that so much on the XTR that when I'm trailering it or I'm pulling it, or when I put somebody else in this boat and I'm in the XTR, like when I take a veteran fishing or do a guided trip, I like the ability to tow this boat if I really need to. So all of those things combined make for a nice clean system. And again, this will be tied into the network so that we can do contour follow, you know, some of that one boat networking system combination. I've got my graph bar set up right here. Got everything tied into the power system from Yak Power. We've got the good gourd. I'm getting something in my throat. We got the C-Clear power coming to the back here. But again, instead of going to the back and coming out through this back plate into the permanently mounted BlackPak, my number one non-negotiable was I needed to be able to use my Torqeedo 1104, the ultralight adventure motor. I love this thing for covering water. I love it for exploring. I love it for speed. I love it for shallow water fishing. The only disadvantage, if you want to call it that, with the ultralight is it doesn't have GPS hold or GPS anchor mode. But for 20 years, 15 years, whatever it is, I've been using this, and my spot lock is a damn anchor wizard. So now that I'm getting a lot more into the offshore fishing, we just basically moved this battery box to the back for Torqeedo.
That's not a battery box, that's a battery.
Well, it's the battery and the battery, yeah, it's the battery system. And, you know, let me take a second to talk about that. A lot of people say what I don't like about Torqeedo is you have to use their battery. That's the wrong way of thinking about it. What happens is you get to use their battery. It networks with the throttle, it networks with the GPS. It's about half the weight of a comparable lithium battery. It's super advanced. It's the most reliable battery on the market. In 15 years of working with Torqeedo, the only battery I've ever had a problem with is the one I forgot on the top of my truck. Started driving down the road, heard something hit, boom, and then I looked in the rearview mirror and started tumbling down the road, and it quit working about 2 weeks later because I cracked up the frame and got water in it. Most reliable lithium on the market, been doing it longer than anybody else. And when Torqeedo developed their motors, there was no consumer lithium available. So it would be crazy for them to go backwards to allow you to tie their super advanced system to a less advanced lithium battery, and you get all of your range, your GPS, your torque tracks, you get your speed, RPM, you get so much information, plus it's already waterproof right from the factory. The connectors are waterproof, the charging port's waterproof, the throttle's waterproof, everything's a system. So that was my non-negotiable. But then I wanted to be able to also take the motor off, the BlackPak out, and take this thing and just go paddle. One of the big things that I'm doing this year to get my fat ass back in shape is just getting back to the good old fashioned bending branches shuffle, where I'm just putting in some miles. So I even wanted the ability to take the BlackPak completely out. And one of the things that I told that knucklehead is, I don't want mine so wired up and so locked in that I can't get the batteries out. So if it really comes down to it, I can just disconnect these two terminals. I can turn the battery, or take the foam plate out, turn the battery sideways, take it out, just take these terminals and mount them to the side of the BlackPak, and then I can go without this for a while. So
almost forgot. Y'all see these right here that we've probably talked about. Did you talk about it?
Yeah, no, I didn't, but you can.
All right, so these things right here. So if you're going to use a battery box, C-Clear harness, or normal wire, you can see how nice and clean and how everything is held up, and that's what these little things are here. I'll try to find a link and add it to the description as well.
Honestly, guys, here's the other thing, and I love Yak Attack to death, and they make some internal management stuff, but legitimately, these little P-clips or cable ties or whatever, the reason they're called P-clips is if you turn them sideways, they literally, when they're closed, they look like a capital P. You see that? Right? So these things can be mounted inside the BlackPak to tie all kinds of little stuff to. You can lace the inside with bungee if you want to. These things are awesome, and they work super well with this gridlock system.
Yeah, just get you,
like Austin was talking about.
Just get you these little screws.
The little screws that come with pretty much everything Yak Attack, the little BlackPak screws, TrackPak screws, all that good stuff. And so, you know, what I do want to point out here is that because of I'm only using one battery in the front, I've got my house battery, as Austin likes to call it, or my depth finder, electronics, camera battery, and all that is up in the front. I wanted the ability to have some tackle in here. That is the great thing about the short stack, is that you've got great access to tackle up here. You can put 2 TrackPaks here, put 3 TrackPaks inside here. TrackPaks actually fit perfectly into your, here I'll show you with this one. They fit perfectly into your, what's this thing called? Junk drawer. So if you got one on each side and then a little tackle box in the front, I mean, how much more tackle do you really need? So we've got this thing dialed in. That dude behind the camera has become an absolute rigging guru. Used to, you know, pride myself on being one of the best riggers in the game. I think he's knocking on the door or has already passed me. But guys, this is exactly what I wanted to accomplish. It took us a while to figure it out, but we got it in, we got it clean, we got it organized, and it's safe, it's reliable, it's going to be durable, and more importantly, it's going to allow me the versatility of a bow mount and a stern mount, a bow mount or a stern mount, or neither. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, consider supporting the channel. The best way to support this channel is support the organization that supports the community of kayak bass fishing, the group Kayak Bass Fishing, the business we own, Kayak Bass Fishing. And you can do that by heading over to kayakbassfishing.com/join. There'll be a link in the description box, a pinned comment, and for those of you that are watching me on TV because you want to see all of this in full frame, HD, 4K, 8K, all the Ks, you can just scan this QR code right here and it'll take you right to the page. Thank you in advance for your support and helping us make Kayak Bass Fishing, or KBF, the greatest community in our sport.